From Housing Wire in Dallas, Texas, I'm Allison LaForgia, managing editor of Housing Wire's content studio, and today I'm joined by Steve Butler, the CEO of True. Steve, thank you for joining me today.
Allison, thanks for having me.
Steve, let's start with a exciting announcement that recently came from True. You recently stepped into the role of CEO after serving as the company's president and COO. You've been with the organization since some of its earliest days, and you have a background that's pretty impressive, spanning fintech, B2B SaaS, and AI innovation. How has your journey shaped your vision for what's next at True?
That's a great question. I think it's a great way to start, Allison. In looking at it, I would say that the common theme in my career, and it's a long career now, it's over 40 years, is business process optimization. And it's been in, only the last 10 years I've been in mortgage, but it's been in equally complex areas. I mean, for example, I was in semiconductor manufacturing for many years. I was in software manufacturing for many years, and then a number of financial services transactions at the enterprise level. And so that perspective of kind of outside mortgage and some really complex things that had to get solved. I mean, these are all mission critical, like mortgages and complex problems. And the other theme that I found, and I see this in mortgage a lot, is that usually you can't find a single person that understands the process from end to end. And that was similar in those other industries, trying to get somebody that understands how this whole thing's supposed to work. And so I bring that to mortgage, and at the same time, I'm still a newbie. I've been here 10 years, and so I'm not going to parachute in and say we're going to change everything. I think many people have tried that before me. So I have a deep appreciation of mortgage and how it works and how people want to get it to work and how passionate they are about it. But I do bring in some outside ideas from manufacturing that actually did solve the problem in a complex way. So that's how I'm looking at it.
So let's talk a little bit about that business process optimization and one of the ways that True's approaching AI. I've seen there's been a lot of talk at the forefront of True's work, specifically with background AI. How does it differ from traditional automation or assistant-based tools? And why does that matter for lenders today?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. It matters a ton because in the way that you get a lift in ROI from AI is that you can give it to that AI worker and it can fully handle the task. There's a lot. I mean, AI is everywhere now. We're using ChatGPT for everything. We all know, though, it only takes you part way there. No one's going to turn in a paper to their professor without reviewing it and updating it. You're not going to do a legal brief from a lawyer without actually changing a lot of things. So it's the same way with AI. If you're going to require a human to sort of deal with the output of it in mortgage, then are you really getting a lift, right? And that's the problem with assistants. And by the way, I talk to the C-suite all the time, and they actually are frustrated that a lot of their software investments, they end up with a bigger team. They end up with specialists on that tool. All of a sudden, we have this whole team we didn't have before just because you have to run that tool. So, background AI workers, if you can figure out a manufacturing process that they can handle fully, you basically get 100% gain for that manufacturing process. So it's really critical that you figure out the AI, what it can do, its level of intelligence, and then the manufacturing stage in mortgage that it can handle fully. And you get a big difference when that happens.
That is so interesting talking about the places that AI appropriately fits in this actual process. And I want to dig a little bit more into one of the challenges because you mentioned you talk to the C suite a lot. So, despite a lot of the hype around AI, one of the challenges that executives face is identifying where to begin with AI implementation. How should leaders think about getting started with this process when you're looking at such high optimization rates?
Yeah. No, in fact, there's so many places you can jump in. It's a complex process, as you know, many handoffs along the way. We're really strong advocates that you got to get your data right first. It's all about data, quality data. And so applying AI so that you can get clean data. When I say clean, it means that it's full, it's complete, it's consistent. If you've got a borrower address in the LOS, it should be present on all the documents that have that borrower address. It can't be, right in one place and wrong in another. It's got to be consistent. So getting clean data, and why that's so important is because all the decisioning then happens after that. So if you get clean data, several weeks down the way, then guess what? That's when your decision is going to start. But if you can get clean data within a few days of borrower supplied documents, provided documents, if your data gets clean, then your decisioning can start, like income calculations and asset calculations and pre-approvals. They can start as soon as you have clean data. So we're huge advocates of get your data right first, and then some really nice things happen downstream.
So I'm guessing one of those nice things that happens downstream is the elimination of stare and compare tasks, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, that is one of the only weapons today available to lenders for how they get clean data. So you can just picture they got the document on one screen, right, and then they got the extracted values or the information that's going into the LOS and another, and they're trying to sort of compare them. Are they correct? I mean, that's such a cumbersome, slow process, and the poor underwriter who gets the file and finds the inconsistencies has to close the file and kick it back down to the processor or to the LO and say, clean this up, get it right. And so steering compare is the way it's done today, and that's got to be eliminated. And AI can do it if you have the right AI.
So let's talk about the implications of streamlining those stare and compare steps.
Yeah. Well, the biggest thing of all is that if you can eliminate stare and compare, in fact, if you can take it away from the processors, so you don't have to worry about that, and the LO, their productivity goes up significantly because you've got a background AI worker that's doing all that work. So imagine the processors double or triple their productivity. They're doing other things about in that loan, doing some initial, pre underwriting calculations, right, and looking at different ratios and so forth. They're collecting other things about that loan that they need to get collected. They're not having to do any of the document related work. So productivity is a big win for that. But the other thing that happens is you can start the decision early, so you can do much faster pre-approval. So when you get applications that come in, and borrowers are shopping around, if that application can be, pulled right away, and the borrower can get some feedback almost instantly about, hey, I like your calculations. They look good to me. Your documents look good to me. You've probably, reined in that customer. That's probably a new customer for you. It's all about transparency and instantaneous feedback back to the borrower.
Now, that's really exciting when we talk about the level of transparency that we're talking about and having the ability to get an earlier decision, especially around something like a pre approval when you're working with someone who's eager to get started with the process. Let's
Right.
talk a little bit about some of the early adopters that you've seen over at True. I'm going to ask you for a preview, Steve. Without naming names, can you share about how some of the leading lenders are approaching the shift towards AI implementation?
Yeah, they're following the blueprint we recommend, which is to start off with your data, getting your data right. And so they're rolling it out to their network of LOs, across the country. And the background workers are doing all the indexing and all the extraction. And so you can imagine the lift they're getting at the field level because those LOs now have more time to provide white glove treatment to their customers, right? And the processors have a lot more time to get the loan through quicker. So we're starting to see those pre-approvals come way down, and we're starting to see that productivity up. And I'm talking big national lenders. I'm not talking small. I'm talking some significant lenders that are really leveraging this technology the way it should be. No one's trying to boil the ocean. That's where you basically say AI is going to do everything. They're doing it in stage by stage in a very thoughtful approach, and I think that's the way. And down the road, they're going to be very automated.
It sounds like True's really been a partner with these early adopters and has helped shape their philosophy towards integrating that into their processes.
Yeah, I think we've been doing AI for 10 years, so we understand it really well. We were fortunate to be running. We probably run tens of millions of loans through the system now. So we've got very, very high accuracy, which is why we can deliver it as a background AI worker. I think we're the only ones that can deliver it as a background AI worker. So that gives us the ability to help lenders transform. The whole mortgage insurance industry, True, most of mortgage insurance, by the way, runs through True today. We have almost all the vendors in that. So the loan file goes to them and we turn it around in under 10 minutes now, where it used to be several hours. That's the kind of transformation. So we talk to originators now and correspondents and services and say, look, we can help you transform at that level. So we have a lot of credibility as a result of the work we've done over the last 10 years.
So True isn't looking at AI as anything new. I mean, the speed of innovation is rapid, but you guys have a depth of knowledge here. So, what I want to wrap with today, Steve, is as you look ahead for the next, let's say, 12, 18 months, what are you
Right.
most excited about for True's future?
Yeah. So we have. Yeah, it's a great question. I love these kind of questions. I mean, we have brought a lot of generative AI now into the product. And so we're seeing accuracy go up even higher because we have this 10-year machine learning model, which is so intelligent. Now we have this other model, which is an LLM model. And those two models work in concert to get to the right answer. And so you're seeing accuracies that are better than human accuracy using machines only. So our solution doesn't need to go to India for a review, for example. So I think we're going to see tremendous gains in accuracy and automation as a result of that. We're integrating our solution now into underwriting solutions and other tools. And so you're going to see some announcements from us, which have us plugged into some of the mainline big underwriting income and automated underwriting solutions in the industry. And you're going to see other partners joining into this platform that we have called the MOS, Mortgage Operations Service, because it gives them a common data layer that they can then launch from. So all the tools out of the box are interoperable. So I think this idea of manufacturing the way physical products are manufactured, which is all downhill instead of this back and forth, I think we're going to nail that. And when we nail that, we're going to see a lot faster manufacturing happening in the mortgage space.
Well, it sounds like a bright future for True and how True is approaching improving the tech process for mortgage. Steve, thank you so much for joining me and for giving me this insight on what's going on over at True.
Allison, I really enjoyed your questions and thanks for really having me. Look forward to the next steps.